Alvina Usher, your Ottawa real estate expert, is here. So the question is, buy land or not to buy land today? It is a little bit slow on the market, and I have a lot of questions from my clients. Do they buy land right now, or do they wait until a better times? I personally think that it all depends if you have cash or not. Because let's say if you have cash, $200,000, and you want to buy land when it's going to be time when interest going to be lower, it's a lot of people who's going to go and buy land. Although, don't forget, you cannot take mortgage for land. So you can take money from your credit line and buy the land. But from credit line right now, you probably will be paying about 7.2% from the secure credit line. And the question is, do you want to pay at this point for the land that you're not going to use, that you're buying for the future, 7.2% annual interest? On the other hand, if you do have a money, if you do have a cash, absolutely, I would suggest buy the land, and then at the time when the land gonna be increasing in price, you will be able to sell it, or you will be able to use it. Now, the question is, what do you need this land for? If you need this land to build a cottage, and you don't have a money right now to build a cottage, so if you don't have a cash, I would not buy the land right now. I would maybe buy the cottage that already standing on the land, and maybe buy it with the mortgage, because for the land you cannot receive any money, but you can receive money for the house on the land. So I had a call from one of my clients today asking me about the land. Can we buy a land? What do you think? Does it worth it? And everything, because we want to buy it for the cottage. So it is a lot of questions that you have to ask yourself before you're gonna decide buy a land or not. And here they are. Where do you want to buy the land? I'm talking about Ottawa, Ontario. So they are saying that they want to buy in a 2 hours range. I said, okay, now what about what do you want to do in the cottage? What kind of a cottager you are? Do you want to go to the forest and pick the mushrooms? Do you want to hike? Do you want to be near the ski resort and the ski mountains? Do you want to be near the water? And what kind of the water would you like to be? Near the navigable water, or just the water where you can canoe and no motorsports allowed? So it is a lot of questions you have to ask yourself before you're gonna look for the land, before you're gonna look for what you're. And those people, although they want a cottage, they never thought about those particular questions. So when I started to ask them, they told me that they would prefer the waterfront, they would prefer something navigable, that they can have a pontoon or a little boat to go with their family, and they would like to fish, and they would like that not to be more than 2 hours around the Ottawa. So let's look at 2 hours around the Ottawa. Ottawa have an east right to Hawkesbury, and it is some properties with waterfront. You can buy there, and it's going to be in a 2 hours approximately from Ottawa. And also the Petawawa will be approximately on the west, 2 hours from Ottawa. And if we're going to talk about towards Brockville, which is south of Ottawa, it's going to be about 2 hours. So here we are, we have to decide where we're going to go from this perspective. What kind of the riparian rights would you like to have, which means how much of the water, not water, would you like to own, because you don't own in Ontario the water, what kind of rights to the water would you like to own, because it is a setback of 60 feet usually from the water that owned by municipalities or townships. And what kind of a setbacks, what kind of the rights of way would you be accepting this land to have? Maybe somebody going through your land to get to their cottage, to get to their properties. How hard it is to get all the approvals from the townships and from the conservation authorities to place the septic tanks and wells, and what kind of water it is around for the drinking. And it is million questions you want to know before you're buying the land for your cottage, because as I'm telling you, and as I told my clients, sometime I would prefer them to buy already existing cottage and maybe doing extensive renovations to this cottage, but they're already gonna grandfather some rights to maybe something built in the water, or some external buildings that right now are not allowed to be built. So we have to look at it very careful and very seriously, because when you're buying the land, it's you have to have cash. And if you don't have cash, I would not consider buying it. So this is my opinion. Maybe other real estate agents going to be with a different opinion. I always told to my clients that in order for them to be successful in their financial decisions and investments, they have to have a good financial broker, a good mortgage broker, and a good real estate agent can help them to take their idea and give them an advice of how to implement this idea. So I left my clients with a lot of questions that they have to answer to me before we will be pursuing some opportunity, because maybe it is better for them to buy right now the land already with the cottage. It might be not the cottage that they want to have, but it might be already some structure, and they can receive the mortgage for that. Although it is a mortgage for 6.5% or 7.5%, but it is still better to have a mortgage than to take a whole pile of cash and put it into something, some land that's gonna stand there and you don't even have anything to live in, if you want a cottage. This way at least they're gonna have a building, they're gonna have already some service, maybe septic, maybe some well, and they can already use it and prepare their architectural plans to build a cottage. So and they also gonna have everything already, all the rights, all the responsibilities about this area, and they're gonna know about all maybe associations that are around this area and everything. If you want to discuss the sale or the purchase of the cottage or the land or a farmland, let me know. We're gonna find you whatever you need. I'm here to serve you with my expertise and with my knowledge of this area. Alvina Usher, your Ottawa real estate expert.